Hey everybody, it's May. Still doing the series of jig style nymphs here. This one's a pattern that's fished quite often by some of the competition anglers. Most notably Rob Calanda. This is just a jig version of the Prince Nymph, and this is pretty similar to how the fly that he ties and fishes quite often. So I've got a jig hook. This is actually a Dohiko in the vise with a 5/32 faceted black tungsten bead. It's on a size 8 jig hook. It's a fairly large one. You can see I've already wrapped a pyramid of flat lead wire. Not going to show you how to do that. You've seen it before. Now I'm going to tie in my tag. It's got a fluorescent floss tag at the end of this fly. I'm using Datum Glow Bright for this. I'm using the fluorescent fire orange. It's easier to do this tag if you leave the floss itself on a bobbin. What you want to do after you set this tag too is hit it with a little bit of glue or cement. It'll just further protect that stuff because it does fray fairly easy, as you can see. And that's just going to create a hot spot tag at the end of the fly. You can this is an optional step, but the one that Rob likes to fish incorporates this particular tag. So just do a few wraps over it, snip it, cut that little frayed end. Then I'm just going to hit this with a little bit of head cement. Rub it in with your fingers. That'll further secure it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off 2 goose biots, brown. Those are going to be my tails, just like on a Prince. You're going to splay them. Very, very easy to do. When you put the 2 together, you want to make sure that you place both of them together, as you see here, kind of just measuring up my length. You place the 2 biots together so that they curve outward. As you see here, makes it easier for you to split your tail. And then just do a loose wrap, 2, 3, and then just, if you have to adjust them, you can. I typically use the, as you'll see, I'll run my thread base right back up to where that lead wire starts. That just helps build a nicer taper. Now the original pattern that Rob uses uses some of that synthetic quill. That synthetic quill is by DK or Fly DK is pretty much unavailable now, so it's a wonderful product. It's too bad they don't make it anymore. So for the rib, you could do a couple of things. You could use some sort of flashy material, which is nice. However, it will break pretty easily. So I opted for black ultra wire, brassy sized. Gives a nice little segmentation to the fly. So we're going to tie that in now on the underside. Same thing. So we used our thread to build a nice tapered underbody. And then the next portion of our fly is going to be some Jan Simon synthetic peacock dubbing. This is going to be a light peacock. This is a 2-tone fly, as you'll see in a moment. We'll just dub a nice little rope. Get a dub about 3/4 of that. If you don't have enough, just put a little more on. You can do a 1/2 inch if you like. Now we're just going to wrap our wire. Open wraps, about 4 turns. As you see, when I tied that off, I did an extra turn for the wire. That's just to help prevent it from slipping. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start our collar, and our collar is 3 parts. There's the legs, the biots, and then there's the finishing collar. The legs on this are going to be used just natural CDC. I'm going to take 2 or 3 feathers, as you see here, put them together. I'm going to do a split thread technique. I'm going to split my thread, which you can do because this UTC splits fairly easy, as you see here. You can hit it with wax if you like. It's totally up to you. But you're going to take 2 or 3 CDC feathers, place them on top of each other, and then you're just going to peel the fibers off on one side of all 3 of those feathers. As you see here. Spin that in the thread. You don't want an overly bulky collar here. So it's just enough to give it a little bit of movement, as you see here. And then the nice thing with the CDC is you can just preen it back. 1/2 inch it. Now we're going to tie in our biots. You do the same thing like you do on a normal Prince Nymph. Your biots are going to be your kind of your wing case on the back. So you can see I've got them laying over each other. Same thing. They're curling downward, not up. And I like, just to give them a little extra durability, I fold them over. You probably don't need to, but I do. Just half hitch it, and then you clip the tag ends. And now we're going to use some black peacock, synthetic peacock dub. You can do it two ways. It's kind of tough stuff to dub itself, so as I did with the other thing, with the CDC collar, I'm just going to put a little bit in a split thread technique, spin it real quick, makes it buggy, and that's to finish off your collar. And then once you get that in place, we're going to whip finish, and your fly is done. Very, very simple fly. Pretty effective one too. So that's number 3 in our jig style nymph installment. Real easy one, effective fly. Good luck. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Regal Vice, manufacturers of the world's best fly tying vices and accessories. You can visit them at regalvice.com.